Zhang Yi departed the infirmary after consulting with Zhou Kor and found the shelter's living room filled with the familiar clatter of mahjong tiles. Zhou Haimei visited nearly daily, gathering the women of the household for games that provided simple joy amid the apocalypse. The shelter radiated warmth and stability, a post-apocalyptic paradise that Zhang Yi believed could endure until the world's end. His reverie broke when Liang Yu approached, her voice steady as she thanked him for the 10 portions of food he immediately retrieved from his white space storage. Her fingers brushed his during the exchange, causing a slight tremor, and her gaze held an indescribable emotion as she promised to stop relying on him once the students achieved self-reliance like the Shujia town villagers. Yang Xinxin wheeled over moments later, her sharp eyes following Liang Yu's departure. She declared bluntly that their teacher had fallen in love with Zhang Yi, attributing it to hormones amplified by apocalyptic crisis and the scarcity of capable men in the shelter. With a sly smile, she revealed Liang Yu had never had a boyfriend, making her vulnerable and easy to sway. Zhang Yi acknowledged the observation but dismissed the notion of pursuing her, explaining that a stubborn woman like Liang Yu would bring endless complications once committed. He valued his freedom above romantic entanglement, even with beautiful women. The scene shifted across the river to Shujia town, where the students' independent existence had grown desperate. After exhausting local fuel sources, dead trees, furniture, even the clothing of the dead, they huddled in a snow hut around a feeble fire. Yi Xiaotian, the modified artificial superhuman, shouldered the bulk of physical labor, his strength making him the group's primary provider. Though indifferent to power, he tolerated Wu Qingyu's flattery and the latter's exploitation of his name to bully others. The cold gnawed at them, but resentment festered not from suffering alone, it came from knowing Zhang Yi's shelter offered warmth and plenty just across the water. Shen Miaoke voiced the group's bitterness, accusing Liang Yu of selfishness for securing her own safety while abandoning them. He Wenqing went further, declaring he would have preferred dying at Xishan base rather than enduring this humiliation. Yi Xiaotian snapped at them to stop romanticizing death, his own experimental trauma making him cherish their current freedom. The others quieted but soon resumed whispering, their conversation turning vulgar as they speculated that Liang Yu had traded her body to gain entry to the shelter. Laughter followed the cruel insinuation, revealing how thoroughly desperation had corrupted their gratitude and loyalty. Zhang Yi remained unaware of the specific slander, but the divergence between his sanctuary and Shujia town's misery deepened. The students' dependence on Yi Xiaotian's labor and Wu Qingyu's scheming created a fragile hierarchy built on resentment. Liang Yu's promise to make them self-reliant faced an uphill battle against human nature's darker impulses: envy, ingratitude, and the ease with which suffering twists into cruelty. The shelter's stability stood in stark contrast to the moral decay festering just beyond its perimeter. Liang Yu arrived at the snow huts of Shujia town carrying food from Zhang Yi's stores, her expression calm as the students swarmed her with tearful pleas to take them back to the shelter. Wu Qingyu led the chorus, arguing that Zhang Yi's strength made protecting them trivial, but Liang Yu refused. She instructed them to hide in the town's grain cellars, reasoning that any hostile force would target Zhang Yi's shelter across the river, not a group of resourceless students. Her refusal stemmed from practical calculation. The students had previously inflicted emotional abuse on Yang Xinxin and Lu Karen, and bringing dozens of dependents would strain the shelter's harmony and provoke resentment from Zhou Kor and the others. With no immediate threat to the shelter, she chose not to create unnecessary trouble, leaving the students to their fate despite their desperate shouts. The students devoured the food insurance-backed provisions from Zhang Yi's whitespace storage, leaving not a grain, while Wu Qingyu performed concern by distributing portions. Meanwhile, the geopolitical situation shifted. Since the joint Yangqingchaoyu assault on the snow worship cult's Tianfeng stronghold, both major bases had turned their investigative apparatus toward the mysterious third power that had humiliated Xishan base. Analysts had correlated the Lu Fengda broadcast, Zhang Yi's name, and the warehouse theft, narrowing the force's location to the Yunque Manor and Shujia town corridor. The satellite phone Zhang Yi had deliberately planted at the student settlement provided a precise radar fix. Yangsheng base moved first. Xiao Honglian dispatched Dong Hu, known as Flame Fist, a 40-something former professional bodyguard turned supernatural lieutenant, chosen for maturity and restraint. His mission, reconnaissance, not engagement. Dong Hu and his team abandoned their fuel-hungry, noisy snowmobiles at the Lujiang district edge and proceeded on foot through the ice, well-supplied and cautious. From a distance, binoculars revealed the staggering ice fortification across the river, 20 meters high, 10 meters thick, steel-framed, a miniature Great Wall of Ice. Dong Hu recognized immediately that ordinary weapons could not breach it, only large-caliber artillery stood a chance. He understood then how this force had stalemated Xishan base. A scout in white camouflage infiltrated Shujia town under cover of darkness. He found a ghost settlement, 9 of 10 hemispherical snow huts empty, curtains drawn on the few occupied, no guards, no patrols, no signs of organized defense. The silence suggested a population struggling merely to survive, not a military power. The scout traced the satellite signal to an ordinary hut but held back, unwilling to approach the possible lair of the man who had annihilated Gao Yuan and Wang Ruishuan's teams. He reported a deserted village, no living souls, the signal source unguarded. Dong Hu's surprise deepened. A force that terrified 2 major base leaders and resisted Shishan base could not be this defenseless. His gaze returned to the ice wall across the river. The true power, he realized, must be behind that defensive line. The signal here might be a trap. Yet he had come this far and needed intelligence. He led his men forward into the night, past the silent huts, toward the signal source. They found a group of young people asleep inside, students, sleeping like logs, utterly unprepared. Dong Hu stared at his equipment, confirming the signal, bewildered by the disconnect between the legend and the reality before him. Dong Hu, the Yansheng base lieutenant codenamed Flame Fist, led an investigation team to Shujia town following the satellite phone signal Zhang Yi had deliberately planted as a decoy. They surrounded a snow hut where Yi Xiaotian and the other Tianqing Academy students slept. Yi Xiaotian, an artificial superhuman modified at the academy, awoke first and attempted to resist, but Dong Hu's seasoned combat experience and flame-enhanced strength overwhelmed him instantly. A single flaming fist to the abdomen shattered Yi Xiaotian's defense, burning away his coat to reveal the Shishan base combat uniform beneath, confirming Dong Hu's suspicion that these were remnants of the fallen base. The investigation team swiftly subdued the remaining students, all ordinary people except Yi Xiaotian, binding them and pressing them into the snow. When Dong Hu demanded to know the satellite phone's origin and the terrified students could not answer, he demonstrated lethal resolve by snapping one student's neck with a casual crack, threatening the same fate for silence. Wu Chengyu, sensing an opening for survival, immediately betrayed Liang Yu, identifying her as Zhang Yi's woman and the students as her protected charges. He pointed to the lunchbox Liang Yu delivered daily as proof of her attachment, urging Dong Hu to use them as bargaining chips. Dong Hu, whose primary mission was reconnaissance and intelligence gathering on Zhang Yi rather than direct assault, accepted the capture. He ordered all students bound and transported back to Shaohonglian for thorough interrogation, but deliberately avoided probing the massive ice-walled shelter across the river, his veteran instincts warning him of unseen danger lurking behind those fortifications.